It's about Christmas from not so long ago, maybe 30 years ago. And the old man was a young man still trying to dig his way out from under the pile of puppy poop he was fed as a kid, like we all do, you know. Well, those that are bright enough to want to, the rest of you just cave in and accept it and pay the price. I mean, it just happens. But Christmas, is all about releasing time, just like the solstice is. It's about letting go of preconceived notions and letting the idea settle into your heart. There might just be a Santa Claus somewhere, somehow. He might be stationed on the moon, he might be stationed on Mars, hell, he might be out there at Jupiter on one of those moons, who knows? We all know the North Pole's just a legend. And the dude that brings you presents is just a fiction, yet it's not, because we give it life by repeating the legends, by telling it to our kids until they're old enough to see through it and know you're full of bullshit, No wonder we wear dark glasses. We should. But yet, the very conveyance of the idea of somewhat magic, of a time that is magic, when people really do turn their thoughts to loving one another, when all of the winter stores are put away and it's a while before spring shows up and all we got to do now is chop firewood and stay drunk beside the fire. Well, hopefully not too drunk, but beside the fire and just relax. That's what winter's all about. I know most of you are missing the natural cycles that have been going on for centuries because you're stuck in some filthy-ass city somewhere. Maybe even out in suburbia, even worse. At least the city has some life. Oh, man. I'm telling you guys, we have dug ourselves into a shithole here in America and the rest of the world that's like us. And thank God there's those that don't repeat our fucking example, because we sure are messed up. But here we are, man, lost in America and all this extravagance shit. I've never had the extravagance. I've had some money in my time, but I've never had the extravagance. I never felt compelled to do it, I knew better, and you guys do too. You'll catch on, Buy a 20-year-old car and fix it up. Buy a house in a country that's fallen apart that you can pay for with the equity out of your house in the city. Creative solutions like that are what's called for in times like these. You can't play it by the old standards. And the only way you're going to know what to do is to learn to follow your heart. And that's what tonight's story is all about. Following the heart. Finding out what that is first and foremost. So here I am, a relatively young dude, late 30s, early 40s. I got a little marketing company. I'm doing the in-between thing. From the trucking. And the partner and I started a little coupon company. Excuse me. Stumbling over my words a bit. Little coupon company, and then that proved only mildly successful. But it led to a lot of connections that helped me find a bunch of little products I could market for people. And what do? You take small people's products and you market them to the small people up and down the West Coast, and you make a little money in the process. But the only way you do it's by being yourself and taking care of folks, And finally, I'm in a place where I can do this myself, and I don't have to rely on others to be doing any element of it for me. Now, it takes a lot of work, so I'm a busy little guy. And so, in order to provide sufficient income, you know, I'll work a gift show here and there, and I'll sell some of my T-shirts and, you know, ancillary items. Uh, they're joke T-shirts, things like that. So I worked a Christmas gift show up there in Portland, Oregon, this one winter. It's 2 weekends, 3 days a weekend, and it's really busy, and you're supposed to make a lot of money there, but this was a recession year, so things were a bit slower. And I made about half of what I thought I ought to make. Quite the show, though, and I learned a lot there. I had some neighbors on both sides of me that were really intriguing people, and became like lifelong friends in a way. But that's the kind of thing you do at these gift shows. They're really special places. They're a lot of fun. And guys, if you have something like that in your area, I highly recommend them because you're going to find different and unique stuff you won't find anywhere else. And you're not going to give your money too much to the corporate world. If they get it, it's through the back door, not the front one, and that's a big slice. So take care of those little independent people that work the gift shows, man, because they're taking care of you and holding the light for all of us. But anyway, I worked it this one winter. I'd done it before, but this was the first time in a big way. Made about half the money that I needed to make. So along comes a spider and sat down beside her and says, how come I'm not frightening you away? And I says, because, I need to make a little more money. So really, it's like this dude. Honest to goodness. He looks like the devil. He's got his bushy eyebrows up to here and points and down to here. He's got this mean attitude in his face, though he's gracious and kind to everyone. And he wears a big old fedora, bigger than my cowboy hat here, man. I mean, it's large. And he's got the pinstripe suit, the old dark blue with white pinstripe suit. And, he's got the blonde bimbo under the arm, that kind of thing. And the red dress, no less, yeah. And what's he wearing? Red pants. And red shoes whose toes curl up like this. And what does he ride around in? An older Lincoln Town Car stretch limousine with smoked out windows. What else would he ride? So now, that's the spider sitting down beside old Miss Muffet here. And he says, man, I got this show going in this mall out here. It's a holiday show, but it's an everyday thing, and you might be able to make a little money there. Would you be interested? And I looked at him and I said, I'm coming out this afternoon when the show closes here, and we'll take a look. So long story short, I wound up doing business with the devil and spending another 3-4 weeks there in Portland, Oregon. Working this little gift show inside of a storefront, inside of a mall out there on the southeast side somewhere. Well, it wasn't too far out, because it was still in the city. But I made just enough there. And we closed up Christmas Eve, Got past my dealings with the devil and got all my money in my pocket, got him paid off, got everybody took care of, and ready to roll for home and have Christmas, but except, well, there's an ice storm going on there in Portland, Oregon. Now, this is a real common happening in my life. Christmas just seems to bring on the foul weather. And I'm constantly getting stuck or, at the very least, tormented by it. And it's always around Christmas. Don't matter if I'm trucking or doing something else. But here I am, and I walk out of this place about 6 p.m. when we closed up the show. It's dark because it's, winter and it gets dark early. And there's all this light, misty rain and all of this ice. And I can see it's really going to be a bad one. I get up there on the main road and I see people sliding all over the place, 2 or 3 crashes inside of about 2 minutes. And I said to myself, I've made enough money this year. I'm going to give myself a motel room for Christmas Eve. And so I did that very thing and got myself checked into one, held by coincidence right across the street from the mall where I'd been working. And I got it for a real reasonable rate, too. I just got lucky. Well, of course, the angels were orchestrating it, and that's why I got lucky, but that's how it works. If you've got angels on your side, baby, you don't have too much to worry about because they'll always orchestrate for you and get you out of it, or help you get out of it. You got to make some effort, too, It's not like they just carry you. But this was a blessing from God. This little motel for the weekend there in the southeast side of Portland, Oregon. It was awesome. And I'll tell you a little more of the story here in a moment. It was the beginning of one of the most amazing experiences of my life to that time. That's the other side of Christmas. I get tormented by a lot of bad weather and I get stuck away from home, wherever home might be at the time, over the years. But God, it's always magic. I don't know why that is. I don't even particularly believe in Christmas, even though I look like Santa Claus and sometimes think I am. It's a different form of Santa Claus. I don't need to climb down your chimney to share my gifts, man. So yeah, there's some truth to that legend. We're all Santa Claus in a way. But yeah, I carry that energy because it's fun to give it all away. And I've done it since I was a kid, but now I'm learning what it's all about. Taken a long time. Been a hell of a growing process. And of course, I've lived life on the edge. And this, of course, night in Portland, Oregon in the motel room wasn't any different. It was an edgy life, but a beautiful one at that. I had a good feeling about things, And I called what's now my ex-wife, I called my little woman down there home, and I told her, baby, there's no way I'm getting home. It's a mess up here, and I've got shelter, and I'm warm, and I send my love. And she says, no problem, because I got to work in the morning anyway, Wasn't like a real holiday for either one of us. And the kids, well, they're on their own. They got their own lives. I was just barely in my young 40s, and it was that way already, Didn't take long. Doesn't when you start young. But beautiful just the same. So everything's kosher, and I'm like hanging out in this place. And of course it's raining some more, and there's 2 more inches of ice out there. I don't think the ice is ever going to stop coming. It don't look like it, I'm telling you. And of course it's Christmas Eve, and I start getting hungry about 8, 9 o'clock. I want something to eat, I've been busy, boy, hadn't even thought about it till now. And I need something to eat. And I'm going to get it.